All right, so welcome to part 2. We're on the back 9 now. If you enjoyed part 1, thanks for coming over here. If you didn't get to watch part 1 yet, go ahead and hop back over there, watch part 1, so that way you can get a little bit of background to Tony, to the story here, and then jump back here and you get right into it. All right, we're off to the back 9 now. -1 in the front. See what we can do in the back. Leadership's like not really something you can just be taught. You know, you kind of have to learn by experience, you know, see what works in that position.
I think there's a lot of great books for it, but yeah, I mean, you have to be in some sort of position to influence and be responsible before you can understand what it's going to take to influence people. But
did you have any mentors or anybody that kind of gave you a good
my dad started the company.
Okay.
So I mean, as far as being kind and generous and stuff, he was always great at that.
Culture is like a big thing, you know, with any business and being a leader in that business. How do you kind of direct the culture of your company and you know, have a positive culture?
You asked a lot about leadership earlier, and I think that I kind of came to the terms that like it's hard to be a leader unless you've experienced things that other people can look up to.
Right.
They can appreciate. They can look at you and they can say that that's a person that I wouldn't mind if I turned out like, or if I was a friend of. So I think first and foremost, you have to stand for something that means something positive and powerful.
Integrity,
because people
like you
don't
just said,
want to follow something that is weak or slimy.
Yeah.
So it's hard. I mean, people want to be involved with something that makes them feel good about themselves.
Sure.
You know, they want to make money first, right? You know, that's everyone's idea for work, because most people, given the choice, wouldn't work. But beyond that, people will accept to be paid slightly less or differently if they feel like they're doing good, if they're working towards a means to an end, if they're growing as a person. So not that we're a complete success, but most people in my company call our company us and not me and them, right?
Right.
Like
Not your employer, right?
Yeah, you know, a lot of people have been with me for a long time. You know, most people, I would say, we care about each other. So that's a big part of it. But we're also striving to make a good company that's profitable so we can share more.
Sure.
We can do good in the community. We can do good for customers, but we can also give better benefits, you know, better wages.
Take better care of the employees,
You know, and it's hard to do because it's a fine line between what's fair and what's not fair price-wise.
Right.
And
there's a market rate.
Service.
Sure.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things that you have to hurdle over, but again, I think that it starts with you have to find some voice that people will want to listen to. Because if you don't have that voice and you're just speaking about money and practices, it's tough.
Yeah.
You need both the practices and the culture to succeed if you're going to have a business last a long time.
Leading people and also relationships, right? I think both of them, you have to be. I think it just takes a long time in life and wisdom for a lot of people. Yeah. It gets very interesting when people can get it before they get to middle age, but you need to be someone that people want to follow because you're strong and do good things, right? Like, you know, if you want to attract people to you, you have to be the person that deserves to be attracted to, right? Like you can't just want it. You have to be fit. You've got to be kind. You got to be strong. You got to have a code. You got to, you know,
have a direction.
Yeah. So,
it's tough to lead if you don't have a direction.
Yeah.
You know, you don't even know where you're going.
At least have some moral integrity, and
of course,
and people don't want to follow a slob or someone who's rude or
somebody who lies.
All those things, right?
You know, I took over in 2015. It was a small company. I always say it was a guy in a truck in a garage was sort of what we had. And we grew a lot. We've got 10 trucks on the road most days right now, nice. Which is great.
Yeah.
I did a lot of things really well. You know, I was decent at the work and, you know, customer service and reputation. I didn't concentrate on running a business efficiently, effectively for profit for a long time. So I found myself not making money the way that I should make money and not being able to take care of the employees the right way. So, so for the last couple of years, I've been trying to refine practices and trying to run a company that has both integrity but also runs for profit, which it's a hard thing to do. So, I mean, and I've made a lot of personal changes. And, you know, I try to always be a good role model for my kids, and I try to be someone that my daughter can hopefully look up to, and you know, and maybe model her partner after it someday, and then somebody that my son can, always look to, if not, with words, but with actions about like how you should behave. So those are the main things. I'm searching for the right way to live with the right people that I'm connected to.
Totally.
Yes.
That's what this channel's literally all about, is just finding the right approach to life,
Yeah.
and figuring out that balance and figuring out the right path. For everybody's got their own path,
Yep.
but sounds like you're working towards that right path.
I'm working, yeah.
Definitely. Cool. Individual that's had the biggest impact on your life.
That's for sure my dad.
Sense to me.
Parents, right?
Sure.
Mother, they both had a lot of impact. The person that I emulate, the only person that I'd probably call like some sort of like a mentor would be my dad. In recent years, Jordan Peterson.
Oh yeah, okay.
Big fan of his. Most of what he says makes a ton of sense to me. And the way I was just explaining it was, he says things to me that like seem like they've always been true to me.
Sure.
And they just, he says them in a clear way.
So eloquent.
Yeah, that just allowed me to think about it more efficiently.
Cool. All right, so you mentioned your dad being an influence. Were there any specific like lessons that he was able to instill in you?
I think just being a man,
Yeah, attributes.
Just he's a kind person. He's creative enough. I think one of my words is creative. I think I take creative to a different level, at least from the
expanded on that. From his
exactly. But he woke up every day and tried hard. I don't remember my dad quitting. So if you don't see that your role model do something, then you don't think that it's something that you can do, right? Like,
sure,
you think that that's part of what it is. So
okay, so you never quit. Long way. This is a cool course because like it's wide open, so a missed shot, it was still struck well. It isn't like totally punished by being behind a tree or something like that.
Often anyway, yeah.
That was a real relaxed 5-iron. You ever get to play golf barefoot?
No, maybe when I was younger, I might have.
Yeah.
I played a lot of golf at like a par 3 course by a beach. I could see that I might have done it out there. But,
yeah.
But not that I recollect anyway.
No. I've gotten a chance to a few times. It's a blast, actually. Wow. Automatic. Are there any habits that you have or that you've developed that you think have contributed positively to your ability to be disciplined? Besides going to the gym, besides any exercise related?
It's wake up times and trying to stay on schedule and calendar and
having a good routine.
And reading, trying to routine. Making lists. Oh yeah, I've been doing the ice bath for like 9 months now.
So what's that, 3-5 minute like cold plunge, or what's that work? How's that work?
Yeah, so usually a 5 to 7 minute cold plunge.
Wow.
I usually do that first thing as soon as I wake up, and then I'll read for 10 minutes. So I've got a 9-year-old girl and a 13-year-old boy. They play basketball and softball and baseball, so
nice.
I usually coach at least a couple times a year.
Oh, cool. That's got to be fun.
I still do some artistic stuff like the painting.
Oh, really?
Drawing, and then I've been trying to write books too.
No way.
Yeah.
Cool. Start with the art. What do you like to paint? What kind of?
Portraits and landscapes, kind of whatever.
Neat.
Something simple.
What got you into that?
I did it most of my life, and when I went to college, even though it was for film, I spent like a lot of the time doing painting.
Very cool. So if you weren't working, would you be painting more?
I'd be doing some for sure. Yeah. I quit thinking about my life in scope of like work and personal life. Some days I'm playing pickleball at 9 a.m. but working at 7 p.m. It kind of all, it's answering emails and phone calls and being accountable and responsible, and to me it's all kind of the same big thing.
Interesting.
Yeah. So how do you
balance that if
So I think
you just take
as
it
long
on.
as you don't let anything get you too up or down, you kind of take it as it comes.
So setbacks are pretty normal, in golf and life.
Yeah.
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the term setback?
Oh, that's daily.
Okay.
You figure out the best course of action, and then just make plans and do it. But execute. I think one of my strong suits is waking up the day after and wiping your slate clean and trying hard.
Yeah.
Some people get so lost in what might have been or what might happen next that they can't focus on what they need to accomplish that moment.
Totally. So how do you move past things quickly then?
Experience, right? Having to. When you get enough things thrown at you. Both Clay and I grew up in restaurants.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, restaurant industry.
When you grow up serving and bartending, you get things thrown at you constantly. So
Sure.
You just keep going. Yeah, something that might have crippled me for 10 minutes 7 years ago, I don't even feel it anymore. Just
Doesn't even faze you.
do these 3 things and I'll talk to him later if I need to.
I'm talking about discipline. Is there anything you wish you were more disciplined with?
Oh, everything, always.
I see. Okay.
Yeah,
Everything always.
My parents were loving and supportive. They didn't instill discipline, so discipline's a constant struggle.
So you read every day for 10 minutes? When are you reading?
Try this. It's been a life for both because I've been studying, but the designing of a business and psychological, just trying to get in better headspaces and accomplish more, and then some pleasure reading too.
Any particular books that really stuck with you? Said Donald Miller.
Yeah, he writes a book. Guy that writes about something called flow.
Flow. Yeah.
So
that's like getting into a good flow of working, right?
Well, it's about focus. So how to get people to get into a focus so they're actually in it and doing it. And usually it's how you are when you golf or when you paint or meditate or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The time seems different. Sometimes it's with a person you feel flow.
That flow state. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So if you can create a flow state by giving people puzzles at work or helping them grow, then they'll be more proactive about trying and
right.
More
Running with that. One of the purposes or intentions of a business is to eventually help the community. Besides just providing jobs, do you have any plans or dreams, aspirations to help the community?
So I mentioned Donald Miller earlier, the book.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that he said that sang true to me was you have to believe that you deserve money.
Right, yeah.
So, because if you get the money, you will do better with the money than the other people that would have got the money, whether it was the people, the customers, or whatever. So
yes.
You have to believe that you deserve money.
Yeah.
So I didn't believe it for a long time. I believed that I deserved whatever the hourly wage, the market share. But
yes.
with power and money comes the ability to do good with it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, any money that I get, there's going to be a certain percentage that goes back to the employees, the people that helped. And also,
Sure.
I love Lakeland.
Cool.
I've done charitable things for Lakeland. I want to continue to.
Nice.
It's hard to do charitable things when you don't have excess money to do them with.
Sure.
So, but yeah, I always like to try to share it. And I think it's a marketing ploy too, right?
Of course, get that brand out there.
Yeah, you get the brand out there, you do good, and generally it circulates the goodwill. Goodwill. So
positive energy,
so it
reciprocates.
It's something that we actively want to do, but again, to do it, you need to be a profitable company.
Right. That's the key. Having extra funds. Or you leverage the brand in a way that you maybe can rally a couple other brands to team up.
I think we do pretty well with that. So we do pretty well, but.
Yeah, when you have those excess funds in 2 or 3 or 5 years, where would you apply them? Would it be, to help with food insecurity, or would it be education reform?
That's a great question. And I think the answer is, if you had George Jenkins' monies, right? If you could just throw money at anything that you wanted to.
If you had 10 grand that needed to be donated to a charity.
To 10 million, right? Anything you wanted.
We'll start with 10 grand. 10 million you could change a lot of lives with. 10 grand can help a lot of people.
I'm a big fan of sports.
Yeah.
So, and I love what sports teaches kids.
Totally, right, okay.
The discipline, the teamwork, being actively pursuing something that you're trying to be excellent at,
mm-hmm.
And then doing that with other people and learning from someone, the dynamics that sports creates, and then it's the losses and the wins, it's life. So
Sure.
I would probably, as much as I love education and food and all this stuff, I would probably point towards some underserved thing,
Okay.
you know, sports entity that I could help. Maybe.
Get kids out on the golf course. Get, you know, people that may never get exposed to this game.
And they've got the par 3 and stuff, and they do okay. My son did that for a while, but I'm not. Yeah, maybe that's even the right thing. I'd really have to know where it was underserved.
Sure. Fair enough. Okay. You got to describe yourself in 3 words. What would they be? I love this question. Everybody's so different.
Yeah, I probably should have thought about it more.
So quick. Oh, hang on. Keep it down. Keep it down.
man,
You got it. Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to stop there.
I was like, this is great.
That's
And then I was like, come on.
sounds like discipline might be one of the words.
No, I don't think so at all.
Oh. Discipline?
Yeah. Chaotic, consistent. I don't know.
Chaotic and consistent.
Yeah.
Alliteration too. All right.
Consistently chaotic. I don't know.
Creative, maybe?
Creative is one of them.
Creative and
Hey, give me 3 words.
chaotic. Smart, that's a word. Available. Okay.
I'm accountable. Well, accountable. I don't know.
Accountable. That's
Yeah, I'm not generally available, but I'll answer the phone. It's not one word.
Answers the phone. Those are 3 words. Fine, we'll take it.
I think I'm the most consistent
Oh, okay.
person. Period.
Okay.
I just
Interesting.
don't think that I'm viewed as consistent.
You just think other people don't.
I think
don't
that I'm
see all of it.
consistent in the chaos that I continue to do every day, and the creativity.
Yeah.
Because I'm aiming and trying to do certain things, and the methods that I use sometimes I think seem inconsistent,
Okay.
but they're not.
Gotcha. All right, so 2 holes to go. We're currently +1.
Yep.
1 birdie, and we're at even. It's a par 73, and the last hole's a par 5. All right, setting up for success here. I love like when I'm playing around, and you know, you're like shooting a 79 after 17, and you can be like, okay, going into 18. This is the Masters. You got to make a birdie to win the Masters. I love like setting up little
That's what I
scenarios. You're touching on priorities. Like that's one way to build habits, is to prioritize the things that matter to you.
Yeah.
You know, if you prioritize, like you're saying, getting good at golf, if that's your number 1, 2, and 3 priority, you're probably going to get there. What are your current priorities in life at this current time? Obviously, it's going to be different than a few years ago, but
It's the 2 businesses, as the electric company and the AC company,
Yeah.
as entities, and trying to build them up to a point where they can run pretty much without me.
that's the key.
It's being a good influence on my kids all the time. It's my new relationship and trying to do well in that. And then it's my creative endeavors, which is it's mostly writing right now.
Cool.
You know, you're doing this. I'm starting a video project with. I've written a book. It's called DIY AC, so
nice.
do-it-yourself air conditioning. But it needs a whole suite of videos to explain how to change a capacitor out when you're at a residential system.
right.
So that's a big project that I'm taking on. But I do try to do that. The last thing I did was the test. So I'm a voiceover for a book that I did not too long ago, and
Really?
the DIYAC. Yeah. So,
Wow, that's pretty neat.
but just trying to prioritize the things because it's too much to do all at once.
Sure.
So, but trying to figure out when I can do something and what the most important thing is. Because for me, I think a lot of people have said that I'm probably ADD or ADHD.
Yeah.
Having to focus on one thing is generally a lot more powerful than trying to get 10 things done. So
Yeah.
I've got to figure out the times of the days that I can focus on the things that I want to do personally versus professionally, and then try to be consistent about executing every day to do those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Execution is the key to success,
It's
right?
tough, yeah.
It's one thing to have a game plan, but then to stick with it every day.
Yeah.
That takes the discipline that we, touched on earlier in the round. For me, discipline is like the key to success. If
Yep.
you can stay disciplined, you can eventually achieve those goals, right?
If you aim at something and execute all the time, you're always going to get there.
I'd say even if we bogey this and we finish +2 on the day, 75.
We're going to focus on our approach to get a birdie here.
Yeah.
they go even. Even would be something fun.
Birdie would be highly successful finish to the day. What's your definition of success?
Just continuing.
Oh,
Yeah.
so no such thing as success.
Everyone tries to get to certain points. There's very little joy that comes from reaching a pinnacle or goal. It's if you look back on it, you always think about the time that you spent doing something.
Sure.
And the growth that you had, and the trials and the tribulations. So as long as you get up every day and go hard, success.
So the continued pursuit is success for you.
Yeah.
So what accomplishment are you or endeavor are you most proud of?
So I think that I made the mention of hearing the idea that a man has two lives, the first life, and then the second life begins when they realize they only have one life, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the idea that I changed my life when I realized that, like truly tried to change my life.
Great answer.
I feel great about that.
Probably confidence inspiring too. You can really that's an anchor of your personality you can really lean on.
Yeah, no, I mean, constantly trying to evolve and change and trying to put myself in uncomfortable situations to make myself do so. But if I'm looking at singular accomplishments, like the business being in business for as long as it has,
Sure.
The amount of salary that I'm paying out this year, I look at numbers that are mind-boggling to me that I didn't ever think were possible.
That's really cool.
So there's some things like that are impressive to me, but again, I know that they are just a conclusion of a lot of days lined up of actions.
Nice.
So just the consistency of action is what I really, I always lean on about who I try to be.
Yeah. Hey, that was one of the words you used to describe yourself, right?
Yeah.
Consistent. So nice.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and for what it's worth, that word, the consistent, it was a hard word for me to say about myself because I think other people don't see me as consistent.
Really?
Because I seem chaotic, because I'm in and out and doing other things, but because they don't see the whole of my days, they don't understand that I am actually being consistent in action, even though it seems chaotic.
What a finish. That was exciting. That's all I've got. This was really awesome. I appreciate you taking, your entire Saturday to hang out with me and share some of your wisdom. I mean, I hope you had a good time.
I did, thank you.
I really enjoyed this course.
Yeah.
So, thanks again, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, willing to come golf with you whenever.
Yeah. Hit that notification bell so you get a ding as soon as I post it. Thank you guys so much for coming along on this journey to find the right approach.